All right, yeah. So we were talking about yeah, so I guess I handled myself pretty well in jail since nobody shat my cell down and I didn't get stabbed. So there was a dude in while I was locked up, walked by my cell. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Walked by my cell with a shiv, and another dude got stabbed in the ass. Same day or the day after by a different dude on my block, and that never happened to me. And typically that happens over over money or drugs. It's the same on the streets. Uh, have you ever seen a sketchy situation like that go down? You ever seen someone ever get shot or stabbed?
Can't say I've seen that. No, I usually avoid that type of scene, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Like I
That's good.
sense trouble, I get out of there. So I mean, when I was drinking, I would like to kind of get into it a little bit, but I would never actually see any like break the skin. Like when I was a drinker, I would love to rile people up, but no, nothing actually turned into violence. Now, since I ain't drinking, there's no fucking nothing to gain from it. Not like it's not exciting at all when you're just sober.
Yeah.
Were you allowed to drink in prison, in jail?
There was a dude that made some toilet wine while I was in
Really?
there.
In
Yeah,
jail? Wow.
I never drank it. People were giving me drugs like crazy. I didn't take any of them either. They they were all that's like all they do in jail is drugs and watch like NFL football and daytime television.
I
But
mean, yeah,
for the mentally ill, for the mentally ill, that doesn't sound like a bad life, you know?
toilet wine is disgusting. As much as it sounds, it's really that is like bad. Like, but if that's all you got,
If you were in
yeah,
jail, would you drink toilet wine?
yeah, I'd at least strongly consider it, or I would justify it somehow. Like, well, it's sterilized because it's alcohol, so I would just convince myself using logic or something. And then once you're drunk. So who gives a fuck?
Yeah, for sure.
And you
For
could be
sure.
drunk anywhere, and it's fun, like jail, like wherever. That's what's great about drink.
That's terrible advice for the listeners at home, but
Well,
yeah,
I talk about it all the time. You can glamorize it without condoning it. Like they do that. People do that in the recovery world. They glamorize it. They just don't do it. But you could admit, things about it that are fun. Why
well,
you like it.
there's all these like old like 80s so like one of the most recent versions of propaganda like to the youth was people like involved in Hollywood pushing the youth of America to do drugs and drink alcohol went hand in hand. Like, do you know who the Sackler family is?
Yeah, where did that name come up recently? What is they? I know
You see,
they drugs. They sold pharmaceuticals. Yeah,
yeah, you see that
which
name? They're like
which family? Yeah,
they're
like
a wicked rich family, one of
right,
them, and they probably more, they've killed more people. Like
right,
that, you always see that on like Twitter and stuff. You used to before Elon Musk bought it. Were
right.
you using Twitter before it became X?
Maybe I don't think so. I think I just started using it when he bought it around there. That's when it
So
became
you have
cool.
it right now, the different
Yeah,
version of it.
I'd use it. I don't get it. You need to be verified to even get seen by anybody. You get
Yeah.
zero organic reach unless you're verified.
Yeah. Well, that's good. How'd you get your, well, we're talking about something important. Well, remind me that we'll talk about your account getting verified.
Oh, it's you just pay for it. There's nothing to talk about.
Oh, really?
There's nothing to do with clout.
That makes sense.
Yeah, same with Instagram. I do pay for that because I heard it helps with the algorithm. That's it. Otherwise, there's no point.
That makes
I want to
sense.
get reels out. It's all about reels still these
Oh,
days.
yeah. So yeah, I was talking about that. There's a lot of like buzz about that family because there's so much like you ever seen the movie Dazed and Confused?
I tried. I couldn't get very far into it. It's
Yeah,
a classic, but yeah, nah, never
it's
seen it.
yeah, well, like a classic, like in a weird way. There was all these like high school movies based around like the partying in the woods and like
Okay.
all the yeah, and like driving around in a Chevy pickup truck, like yee, and like breaking mailboxes and shit, like all of everything being pumped for like childhood propaganda. It was all just like hoodlum culture, and like now it's like all based in like suicide
Hmm.
like type of stuff. And I don't know why I'm talking about this because when I was in jail, oh, dude, it's so fucking funny. When you were in high school, did they like wheel out or just in school when you're younger, did they wheel out a TV cart into like your classroom?
Yep.
They did the same thing in my unit,
Yeah.
like Bill Nye the Science Guy type of shit. But all of the movies that we watched were like the fucking darkest movies, man. Have have you ever seen Don't Breathe?
No.
It's a movie about a blind Navy SEAL ex-veteran that like is fucking stabbing crazy. Everybody in this jail, all they like everything was about either suicide, stabbing people, or yeah, like being a hoodlum. And that shit was happening. And it was just it's been a real fucking wild ride for me recently. And
Why would they
I,
play that in jail? Doesn't seem a jail appropriate thing to play unless it's propaganda.
that's what I'm saying. It kind of
Yeah.
was. I feel like I've been battling against like just like the weirdest like people trying the manipulators, like kind of
When
what
is
we're
this? When did this start? This feeling of people against you, plotting against you.
well, no, I don't necessarily think they're plotting against me. I just feel like I've gotten into all the worst like places. Like, obviously in jail, it's a tough environment. Like maybe it's not plotted against me. It's just what it is. Stand-up comedy, people try to make people kill themselves occasionally, or it just happens, you know? Like you said. We've talked about it, but all these areas, it just happens there. All these problems, and I've experienced them. I've lived through it, and I don't think it's necessarily against me. It could be, but I think it's interesting to take on the people that are kind of in control of different places, and there actually are, you know?
Yeah, it depends. I don't know. I mean, certainly there are in certain industries and circles. I don't know how. I don't really believe it's that centralized, maybe, but I think once you're elite, they all kind of join the same. They're in the same club, whether it's official or not. I'm not that conspiratorial on that front because it's not that interesting. Like, just whatever people get into that whole thing about. Somebody was very into like the Masons. Somebody was lecturing me about some guy was talking to me about that, and it was interesting.
Recently,
Yeah, a few months ago, he was listening. He's a guy that I don't know. He was interesting, but I was like, yeah, whatever, Mason. I don't know. Um,
I'm pretty sure
Weird.
the Freemasons that stems from like the Knights Templars, right?
They sounds like a similar idea. I don't know.
Yeah, it was all about like it was all about like the quest for like the Holy Grail. There's a very funny movie about that, but like for like finding lost stuff. There's a Nick
Oh
Cage
yeah, yeah,
movie.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I
Nick
think
Cage, or isn't it called? Okay, no, there's a Nick Cage one, National Treasure or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
National Treasure. There's a bunch of movies about this shit.
and then Da
That
Vinci Code is what I was also thinking. Yeah,
oh yeah,
the other
yeah,
one.
yeah.
I don't know if that's anything similar.
The Da Vinci
I'm not a
Code,
movie
that's kind
guy.
of like about
Yeah,
cults and the Catholic Church,
right,
right?
right.
hmm That's
Uh,
interesting. I never read the Da Vinci Code. I should watch the movie though.
yeah, haven't seen it in a while. Yeah, I don't know if it holds on. Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't really like movies. Are boring to me, even if they're like classics.
Yeah, really?
I'd rather watch YouTube because I could stop as soon as I get bored. Yeah, I'm a ADD guy. So
Yeah.
anyway,
What do you watch? Do you watch YouTubers or do you watch
yeah, YouTube is life like consumes your life. Like, because it's like there's so many things you can just learn about that have to do with what you want to do. Like, I could watch 1,000 hours of content about music production, and then I don't actually want to do the music production. I just want to watch other people talk about it. So I'll never get anything done. It just delays every goal because it's awesome. Because I like information. I'm addicted to information.
Yeah, I believe it. I
It's
believe
easier
it.
to
That
do that than to do shit. Like, it's so much easier to just consume shit than to do shit than to make shit for
yeah.
me and for many other people.
Well, life's always simpler as a fan. And all this stuff now recently, like the tech aspect of making music or podcasting or whatever, it's interesting to learn about just in general. So I could see that
Yeah,
there's a lot of good information online to learn about broadcasting or just making music. What do you use? Do you use GarageBand or
use
uh,
Reaper.
Reaper?
Hell yeah, it's
Yeah,
a DAW. Yeah, it's good.
I know there's a lot of good music making tools and apps and
Yeah,
whatever they are, softwares.
yeah, it goes really deep. Yeah, it's deep. The only thing that you can't learn is how to be good at it. You have to do it. You have to practice. Like, you can't read about playing bass or guitar or singing. That's the part that nobody wants to do. Nobody actually wants to become good at the instrument. They just want to buy it. They just want to acquire it. It's
Yeah,
dopamine.
I wanna go down to a music shop in Massachusetts and buy a guitar and just go get on the first flight to LA, and chase my dreams.
That's how it is here with Kill Tony. All these cucks, all these delusional people.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, living in your own dream. It's actually
it's
Tony Hinchcliffe's.
yeah. He said that.
No, I'm kidding, but it's kind of funny. There's so many people. I tried to do it, man. I'd I, I would infiltrate his show for sure. Just as an act, as a
Yeah,
1 minute act.
he's gotten way more brutal as time is since he moved to the mothership. He doesn't give people as much time. So if he just for a second doesn't like you, it's over. He doesn't
Hmm.
give you a chance to redeem yourself.
So you don't go to Kill Tony anymore?
Not for a bit. I went a couple. I signed up a couple times at Mothership, and then I was like, this is it's not what I need right now. It's not for me right now. If I was grinding, if I had something to show off, like a solid minute, if I could kill, I guess I would do it. But even if you do well there, I don't know. It's like I don't really want to be get Instagram followers just for being on some other show, really, because it's easy. It's not that hard to get organic reach if you just put out a stupid reel every day or a couple days or whatever. Like, that's where I'm at right now. It's like if you can't get your own following using the platforms available, you're probably not that good.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
what?
That's
Well,
true.
I'm also super dirty though. So my sense of humor is so crass that the algorithm doesn't like that. So it's
Hmm.
tough. So I guess I would need help a little bit. I don't know. It's a pride thing. It's like, I look at the regulars on there. It's like I'm not that envious of them because it's all this. Because without that, I don't know if they'd be able to continue their trajectory without that rocket ship. So that's not something to be jealous of. That's something to be like, that's not what I want. That would be painful if it all goes away. Like with Hans Kim, like making him fight to keep his regular ship. That would, I couldn't handle that. Like, if you just bomb and somebody does better than you, it all goes away and you just drift back into your normal baseline. Good luck. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with Kill Tony. It's like the Tonight Show though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of is. It's kind of like a cooler version of that, right? But
It's cool and lame at the same time because you see all these lamos. So it's like it makes the whole thing seem uncool just because of how bad it bleeds over. Like, it's hard to transcend that. It makes the band look, even just being close to those people, it's like, damn, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like, it's a good show,
Yeah,
but
it is.
yeah,
Yeah. It's how big's the comedy club Rogan's that they do it at?
I haven't been inside even, but
Really?
yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know how big it looks inside. Never been.
Yeah.
I'm not cool. You gotta be welcome or buy tickets, which on neither list, neither cool list or ticket
Why you
list.
have to pay to go to Kill Tony now? You can't
No,
just sign up.
no, you can sign up, but I don't sign up anymore. So
Oh,
yeah, and I've never seen a show.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool place. Just walking past it, it feels like, damn, that place is too cool for me. And then Red Band opened a club just two doors down, like which is way easier to get into. And I don't
Why?
even go there.
What's his club called?
It's called Sunset Strip, and it's an upstairs venue, upstairs from a bar. It's not, it's fine, but like not nearly as exclusive and happening as the one two doors down. But Red Band's cool. He's nice. Like he remembers me from the times I was on there, so he's cool. But even then, I still don't go to his. Even he's like nice. It's so close. You feel like, okay, all you got to do is impress one person, and that'll lead me to somebody else who's even more powerful. And then Rogan, all he has to do is, or his manager, or whatever. All you have to do is prove yourself, and you'll get momentum. You'll get lift. You'll leave the ground like an
Yeah,
airplane, but then you got to maintain it.
that's actually true. Yeah. And once you start getting gigs in comedy, start booking shows, things start to pick up quickly,
Yeah, it's a launching pad.
for sure.
But
Definitely.
I'm a slow burn type of guy. I like to drift on the tarmac for miles and not take off, because then when you do finally get a tiny bit of juice, it's better, and you don't take it for granted, and you have this cynicalism cynicism that is needed. You need that cynicism, I think, to not.
Yeah, to thrive in that area where it's like where it is a place where there would be like this very like exclusive spot, and then a couple doors down, hey, you can go a couple doors down type of vibe. Like you really have to like yeah, you have to kind of be your own alpha in your mind, you know. And it's a lot. Keeping up with that can be a lot.
Yeah, it's good to. Yeah, cynicism, I think, helps in this business. Just going into it cynical, and not being like, "Oh, this is great, it's happening," and then because then you'll feel it go away. So you gotta, if success happens, you gotta be like, "Nah, whatever, I don't care." But I don't care. You gotta focus on the craft itself and not the success part. You gotta
Yeah.
do it because you love it, which apparently I don't, or else I'd probably be doing it more. Success happens as a byproduct of you being good at the craft. So if you're only mediocre at it and you get success, that's the worst combination. That's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah. And yeah, that does happen a lot. I know a lot of things in entertainment are based off of who you know. It's all about connections. So with that, you wouldn't really the people with the best connections aren't necessarily going to be the most talented people. They just may be like from an older, wealthier family or whatever, you know. And that's just kind of how it works. Money gets you places, you know.
I mean, here it's not that hard though. I mean,
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's why I loved it. It was great.
yeah, here you'll make connections just by doing well once at an open mic or something. It's like when I first landed here, I was doing well because I was didn't live here yet, so I didn't fully embrace, didn't fully absorb the negative. Like it was during COVID, and I was still very amped up about it. Uh, and people still recognize that I have some skill, some potential, even though I kind of stopped doing it. So the bar is low kind of here. Um, so yeah, you just gotta do well like once at an open mic or on Kill Tony. So I don't know. It's not about connects. Fuck connections. People with connections, they suck.
Yeah, they can be terrible, but it can also, yeah, it can also work out. I know a lot of jobs are acquired that way. You can get connections just from from living, you know, like in a certain area where it's going on. Like you could work at a place, meet somebody involved in an industry. I'm sure
Right.
that happens in LA.
Oh, it happens everywhere. It's just like those people tend to not last.
Yeah,
They're not talked about in the comedy scene, or community, or fans just recognize that they suck. Like Bert Kreischer is like, yeah, he had connections and now he sucks. Everybody talks shit about him.
really.
Yeah, I watch videos every day that come out just talking shit about him on YouTube. Like everyone's turning against him.
Yeah, there's rumors that I see a lot of like his fan pages. There's always like something going on about him like ha having sex with dogs. So he could be a real weird guy. Who knows?
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but yeah, he's just obnoxious. That's it. And he just gloats, and it's just become worn out. Yeah, so you got to know when to cut yourself off from being exposed. You can't overexpose yourself.
Yeah.
Like Louis, he doesn't overexpose himself. He's like done with stand up right now.
Yeah, really?
Taking a break. I don't know if he said like basically his last special was maybe his last special.
He's had a pretty epic career. I think you were talking about him, like, because you said he's a real comedian in your opinion, right? Louis C.K.
I think anybody would say that. I mean, who? How could you? If he's not, then who is? I mean, yeah, he was exactly who I was thinking of when I was talking about the bullshit about how success is a byproduct of working at the craft. He wasn't trying to get famous. The
Hmm.
chicken came before the egg or whatever with him.
When I was in jail, I watched a really good movie in my cell. Yeah, dude, I got a tablet in my cell. You had to like pay to use it every now and then. You'd get it. And I watched this movie called Trumbo, and Louis C.K. is in it. And it's definitely worth the watch. If
Oh,
you said you're not really in the movies, but you should
never
check
heard of
that
it.
one out.
All right.
Yeah, it's about all the communists that were involved in Hollywood and got banned by the Actors Guild back in like the 1950s, I believe it was. It's
Mm-hmm.
very interesting.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when everyone was afraid of communism. Now everybody loves it.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of Marxists running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people that are the way communism life, I mean, if everything was the same all around, I guess that could be all right. It depends on the quality of living standards and like what's going on. But yeah, it's interesting.
Eventually, somebody will start shooting up the place. Something will on the top. Some powerful thing will happen. Something will be corrupt, and it'll fall out. The bottom will fall out. It's got to be decentralized.
Yeah.
Like Nazism was centralized, and it was great for a couple of years, and then for something he couldn't keep it together.
Then everybody got raped, you know. The Nazis, they were a wild group of people, but they lasted. They're still around.
Right. That's the thing. People still carry the torch. That's how
I know.
influential they were.
People don't give it up, you know.
It's a
But
good, yeah, it's a good hobby. It's a
what?
flashy, like it's a sexy look. It's a sexy thing to be attracted to. Nazism, the logo, the whole thing about it, the cult. It's a cult of personality. So I get it. Like Kanye, he's like in the cult of Hitlerism because he thinks it's cool because he was like a god, like he was trying to be like the leader of the world. That type of totalitarianism is attractive to some people. I get it, totally get it. I'm on board. So
Yeah.
I would join the neo Nazis when I go to jail.
You think so?
They're white. I'm white. I would shave my head.
Just like many neo-Nazis, you grew up Jewish.
Yeah, I would just be like, yeah, but I'm red pilled.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
mind.
most neo-Nazis don't remember their childhood.
They don't give a fuck if you're Jewish as long as you're cool.
Yeah,
They hate Jews, but not the ones that are on their side.
for sure.
Anyway, that's a tangent. Everything goes back to Nazism if you give me enough time to talk.
Yeah, well, that's what you've been involved in. You've been involved in open mics.
Yeah,
It,
that's
it
it.
goes,
That's Nazis.
well, kind of, yeah.
It's the
Not
same thing. Same
necessarily.
thing. That's fascism right there.
Yeah, but the greatest part is everybody. How many people do you think in the back of their mind went to that open mic you were at to be Hitler? They were coming up with a plan.
To be Hitler
Yeah.
and an open,
Well, go into a
yeah,
bar
you started an
to
open mic
to
to,
garner attention and to
yeah,
build a fan base or whatever, to build a
yeah,
following.
for sure. It's good. That's how you start in anything like open mics. You got to get good. You got to get confident on stage and good at talking in a mic and charisma. That's where it starts.
Truly is. Truly is.
And then yeah, then you decide what to do after you get good at it. The basic level of entertaining or being interesting in front of a crowd. Who gives a fuck? You don't got to do stand up. So I'm going into politics now that I got the basics. I just need a lot more methamphetamine to give me the confidence,
Yeah,
to
sounds
get
like a
through.
Nazi.
Exactly. You
Ever,
gotta give
ever,
long speeches. Yeah. Yeah.
for sure. For sure. Say a war broke out, where do you think you would land? What would your position be with your knowledge of war?
Well, hopefully we are gonna start a war here, and hopefully there will be a one party system soon. We just have to keep convincing Elon and people on Twitter that we're correct. And yeah, as long as Elon keeps purchasing apps,
Hmm.
eventually it will just be Nazis on all the apps, and then we'll have absolute control over the political system, the elections. Forget about it. Twitter is what caused Trump to lose the election. So there you go. That was
Why? So you
before.
you think Trump is far right?
No, he's a pussy. He supports Israel, but that's why what he's better than obviously the opposition. So that's why that was before Elon bought Twitter. That's why he lost the election. It's not because people who get.
Yeah, Elon is from South America or South Africa,
Yeah,
where it's there
same
was a
thing.
yeah, pretty much the worst area after World War II was South America that had Nazis going there, or the
Yeah,
Germans were there, before the war, and what they did, it lasted. So you never know who anybody is, and it's something you got to look into. I bleed red, white, and blue, freedom of speech, freedom about everything. But I agree, you got to live in a place that has pretty strict laws, so it's worth looking into,
what is Nazism?
possibly.
Oh,
But
okay,
well, you
nice.
got you got to understand it for that Nazi's views. Every Nazi's view is different. Some consider Nazis rapists. Only rapists are Nazis. Some people didn't even know Nazis. Any Nazi could be a rapist.
I
It,
didn't even
it
know that was one of the big things that they did.
well, it depends. A lot of people like the idea of fighting in a war. Like this is like a real old school, like small like tribe thing. People would go fight in a war. Just like if you make it back, you can rape your leader. That's why you see like in movies. I remember hearing this. Oh, we're running out of time again. Like there was like always a thing like people wanted to fight and win a war so they could go back home and rape the leader of their country and then kill themselves.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but then as of recently, you saw like you saw it all change, like especially in America. People would actually, like, after 9/11, people fucking wanted to go put on that flag, for George Bush, but not in a sexual way. So it shows a lot of progress in society.
Thankfully, he doesn't have any enemies. It seems like people don't really care about him anymore. Like he's very like on his own painting, even though he's the dude who was the president during 9/11. Nobody cares about him. He's chill. He's relaxed. Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody hates him anymore.
you think there would be a lot more going on. What do you think? You think people were behind 9/11 inside job?
Not really.
No.
Not really. Seems like something they would. Seems like something Muslims would do. Seems like something the exact thing that extremist Islamic terrorists would do. So no,
Yeah.
seems like it adds up.
It was out of my hometown, out of Boston.
That's out of your hometown. Yeah.
Yeah, they took off from Logan.
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Seth MacFarlane almost got on that plane, I
yeah.
believe. He
That's
might have been.
why people think it's possibly an inside job. There's too much going on.
Yeah, it's possible, but it also is possible that that's exactly what
It just happened.
Afghanistan would want to do. It's exactly what Osama bin Laden would want to do. So it makes sense to me. It's the weakest. It's the most logical because look at those assholes. Like the pictures of them, they look like who would do that. If you see the pictures of Mohammed Assad, he looks like the type of guy who would hijack a plane. So he's a
Yeah,
good actor. If it's not real,
yeah.
he should get an Oscar, posthumous Oscar. It was a good movie. Yeah, it's such a good event that like a great terrorist event that it couldn't even be a movie, except for maybe in 50 years or something. James Cameron will make a movie about it. But that's how great of an event it was. You weren't even alive.
In 9/11?
Yeah, you don't even remember it probably.
I remember it. I remember walking down my stairs and people were looking at the TV and I was shook, man, because I was like, oh fuck, maybe I was the one that did this.
Really, you
No,
remember it because you were like a baby. I barely remember it.
yeah, I was like 3 years old.
Yeah,
I remember some stuff of it.
yeah,
Interesting, but yeah, uh, yeah. As time goes on, you think about what really happened. How many people actually remember 9/11?
yeah, yeah,
The
man. It makes
story
me.
is
It's
great. The story is great, though.
a great story. Exactly. It's like the way it panned out was beautiful. You know.
Yeah, and it was a call for a push on the war on terror,
Yeah, it
and
united us. It united us against those other people, which is a beautiful thing about the human spirit. It's a natural thing is that enemies bring us together.
that can happen. That can
Like
really
the
do it.
Nazis were enemies. We killed them, and now we were great. We were happy. It helped the economy, and baby boomers were born thanks to that. Thanks to Nazis being defeated. So we were coasting off the table scraps of the Second World War. And then there's the hippie thing that happened in the 60s. We're also living off the cultural, whatever you call it, the aftermath of that. Still, the Beatles, we're still the same in the 20th century, except now we have other shit that makes us not as interesting as individuals. So we're going back to collectivism. So that's a
Yeah,
history. That's history in a nutshell, right there. U.S. history and current times that we deal with. Fucking individualities dying.
yeah, it's
So
interesting. It is.
gotta be an artist. Fight for that.
Well, yeah, you see, there's never been a time where there's been better art made, and everything being made now is so well done. You would think everybody involved in the making is so dedicated and hardworking that they would just be the greatest people ever,
Yeah.
real salt to earth, real salt bay.
Yeah, that's few and far between.
But unfortunately, a lot of these people,
We
there's
didn't
a
even
lot of,
talk about we didn't even talk about feminism. Sorry to cut you off.
oh, keep
I
going.
just had to get that quick thing in there that's one of the topics I can't believe didn't even come up this entire two part episode is that I didn't even mention women. But I just
Wow.
wanted to bring that up. I don't want to actually go there. I just wanted to acknowledge that we didn't acknowledge that
Yeah.
it's a men's focused podcast.
Yeah,
Anyway,
very focused on why why are you in the dating pool? I know, wait, I talked about how I met a chick at a pond.
did you?
Yeah.
The one that gave you
I,
the green poison?
oh
No,
no, that
no.
was a bartender.
Yeah, I
But
don't
yeah, that's
remember
a
that.
girl. But no, it's
Okay.
why you
You
got to
met a
get back
girl.
in the dating pool. Austin's a good place to meet young single women, actually.
If you want to, yeah, like you mean like escorts. That's the word for it.
No, I mean like go on Tinder,
Oh
you
yeah.
or go to a bar,
Same thing. That's escorts.
kind of, but not really. You're not paying. An escort is something you pay for an escort to like go
Yeah,
on a
it's not
date
as
with you.
good. It's like it's a convoluted
Well,
s form
it's
of.
kind of like hiring an actor, but there's a possibility. Well, there's more of a possibility you could have sex with. That's kind of what you typically have sex with an escort. It's like a more luxurious prostitute, I
Right, that's
believe.
just the nice word for prostitute, yeah. In
Yeah,
my book, that's the way I'm using it. I don't really know that there's probably I don't give a fuck. I just know they're all the same. Like I'm talking about women in general, so like I'm using it the most broad definition that you could possibly use. That it includes all women under 35 who are single and not in a devout conservative 50s style, in the kitchen, married.
getting beat,
That's what I'm talking about. What?
getting beat in the kitchen. That's I've
If
seen
they
oh too
don't, I mean,
much.
not like beat like with like a like not dramatically like in the movies like Passion of the Christ, like how you remind me because you look like Jesus.
Thank you.
Um, no, just like every once in a while, you kind of have to like flinch, like scare them a little bit to stay in line. If that's what you, in that sense, sure, that's what I am talking about. That's what I endorse is like intimidation and scaring women and that if you're married to them, not the ones that you don't know.
Yeah, no, that's I that is very 1950s.
Exactly.
Very
Yes.
closeted
Yes.
homosexual. That's not what you want out of life.
As soon as the 50s ended, that's when it went to hell.
Well, yeah, no, not really. A lot of these women abusers came out of closets and they started doing their own thing. And gay started picking up. And then
Gay?
till you got the Krista Stefano and it's like wow, gay people really reached their peak, you know?
Oh, gay people are, yeah, gay people, yeah, they're not, they're around. So
Yeah.
anyway, thanks for having me. This is fun.
Yep. Hey, thanks for coming on the podcast. Everybody go check out Timmy Gusto or Tim
Yeah,
Weisenbaum.
that's one of, and then
Weisenbaum?
Tim Weichelbaum shows
Weisselbaum?
my podcast. Yeah, man. Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Come back to Austin, man.
I'm gonna come back soon. All right, I'm just gonna maybe if I